Well, hey y'all, welcome back to our channel. I'm Elizabeth, the Southern gmoregals, and we've compiled all of our summer DIYs into one big great binge watching video for you. Hope you enjoy it, and we'll jump right into it. Purchased this anchor sign from the Dollar Tree, and all I'm doing is using some putty or some wood filler to fill in the hole there, and then I'm going to paint it with this off-white chalk paint. And I found this jar sticker at the Dollar Tree, and the little designs there is actually the sticker, so I'm just peeling that off, and I cut around the jar, so I cut out the shape, and I'm using the Mod Podge to adhere this to my sign. And then I'm going to use these stencils that say Farm Fresh. I'm going to use a barn red or barn door red that I purchased from Walmart. That's the color that I'm using on my stencils. I started with a stencil brush, but it's a little bit fat or a little bit big, so you'll see that later I'm going to switch over to a smaller brush. I think it worked better with these smaller letters. And if you make a little smear or some of your paint bleeds or they're a little bit wide, you'll see in a minute the H is a little bit fatter than I wanted it to be. I just took some of the off-white chalk paint and just kind of touched up around there. I made a little spot there above the S that I just covered up with some paint. So, you know, if you make a little mistake with your stencils, you can always use the off-white paint to go back and fix anywhere that's a little bit fat. And right here you see the H. I got a little bit fat, so I just trimmed down the edge there with some off-white chalk paint just to make those lines look a little bit more sharp. Now for my strawberries, I purchased this little, I guess it's like a little bead container from the Dollar Tree. This was in the crafts section. And I'm just popping these tops off. I thought these were kind of in the shape of a strawberry. So I'm going to use some of the red felt from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just wrapping it around these plastic pieces and gluing it with a glue gun. then I took some green felt from the Dollar Tree to make the little tops or the little leaves on the strawberries. And I'm just using my hot glue gun to apply these to my sign. And I just arranged them any way you like those in the jar, just to look like it's filled with some fresh strawberries. Purchased my 2 pieces of fabric from Walmart. The polka dot was already in a little pack there, and I think it was $1 or $1.50, and then the plaid they cut for me, and it was $1.11. I just traced a pattern on some paper, and my pattern looks like this. And I think a pattern close to maybe like a baby bottle nipple is kind of what I thought worked best. This is a strawberry I made like in a triangle shape, and it was 2 pointed, and this one was a round one, and it didn't turn out either. So this type of shape worked best for me. I just folded my fabric in half and then traced my pattern, and then we're going to cut this out. I hand stitched my strawberries. I was fighting the sewing machine doing something this small, so I just stitched around them. I left the top open, and then I'm going to turn them inside out. I purchased 2 packs of pom-poms. I purchased the ones there with the pink that have the little spikes on them, and those are much firmer or much more solid pom-poms, so they work really good to fill in my strawberries and keep them real firm. And then I also purchased a pack of just plain pom-poms, and they're a lot softer, so you may have to use several more of those to fill your pom-poms in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 pom-pom down into the point, and then I'm going to use 4 more to kind of go around in a circle inside the strawberry, just to make it look really plump and full. And you can make these, as full as you want. You can see here there's just 3 there, and that looks like a good shape, but it doesn't fill out the other side. So I wanted these to be really filled out and look really thick. So I'm using 5 of these big pom-poms in each strawberry. My strawberries filled, I just took made some stitches across the top and pulled it tight there to make the top. And for the greenery, I just bought some green fabric from Walmart, and I'm going to use my hot glue gun to glue that onto the strawberry. I tried to make some different patterns for the top, so they're all not the same. So I just kind of traced made some leaves on some fabric and cut that out, and then just glued it with my glue gun. And I tried to pinch the top once I got the green part on there to kind of make the center look like it was raised a little bit, or pinched it together. this candle holder at the Dollar Tree, and I'm just spray painting that an heirloom white spray paint, and then I'm just using a mason jar to put my strawberries in. I made this sign in one of my Valentine DIYs, and it's just a canvas from the Dollar Tree, and I just went around it and stained the frame part, and then I'm painting the center there, or the fabric part, in off-white chalk paint just to cover up the heart. I'm using these little stickers from the Dollar Tree, and these are the smaller size. This is what I'm going to use to make my strawberry. And I'm using these little small bead stickers from the Dollar Tree. They have a little bit of like a glue or a little plastic strip, and that's what's making them stick. So when you take them off the paper, you want to be sure you leave that attached to the bead, and you can see it there, the little plastic piece that runs in between them. That's the sticky part, so don't pull that off of there. They're not going to stick to your fabric. And I just started with one, and then the next row I put 2, and then I went to 3, and you'll see here I went all the way up to 8. I put 8 rows, and then I went back to like I think I put 6, and then 5 and 3. So then I just started counting down. I made 2 more rows on the top with the beads and to make my strawberry. And I'm just using some red paint. This is a flag red that I purchased from Walmart to paint my strawberry. And I'm just using a real small pointed brush. And I wanted to go around the outside of the beads to kind of trace around the outside. And then I'm going to use a little bit fatter brush or a bigger brush to paint the beads and to paint inside of the strawberry. And then I'm going to take a green paint. I also got the green paint from Walmart, and I'm just going to make some leaves on the top and then a little small stem. Word sweet, I purchased a pack of these curvy stencils from the Dollar Tree, and I cut out the letter S. I cut it maybe a little bit small. I tried to use a stencil brush, and that's too big to use with these small letters, but I started with the stencil brush, and then I'm going to move down to a smaller brush, and I'm just using this red barn paint for my letters. The Dollar Tree also had a pack of stencils that actually say sweet. I didn't like the letter S on there, so that's why I used the S from a different stencils that I had from the Dollar Tree. But I'm going to put the word on here from this pack, but I'm just going to do one letter at a time because I want it to look a little bit rounded and not straight. Again, I'm still using the stencil brush here, but the smaller brush works much better, and I'm going to switch over to that with doing these little small letters. paint bleeds or your letters look a little bit fat, the T and the last E here are a little bit fat, so I'm going to take some of that off-white chalk paint and touch those up to make those a little bit thinner, and I made a little dot there right above the strawberry with red paint, so I'm going to touch that up. This is just something for fun. I've seen these on Pinterest and online. I just thought this would be kind of cool to go with the strawberry theme, but I'm using one of these wreaths from the Dollar Tree that came in a 2-pack, and I'm using the smaller wreath, and then I purchased the strawberries from the Dollar Tree. And you'll need 1 whole pack of strawberries, and then I used about a half of a pack of another one. And I'm just taking my glue gun and gluing these around. I kind of followed a pattern of 3. I put 2 on the outside and then 1 on the inside. About halfway around. I just wanted you to be able to see, and then I'm just going to keep continuing on around. And here's everything together. Leave us a comment. Let us know which DIY that you like the best. These are all budget friendly, so you don't have to go out and spend a lot to decorate your home for spring and summer. We want to thank everybody for watching. We're new to Instagram, so connect with us on Instagram. Our link is down in the description box. Check out some of our other DIY videos. Thanks for watching. Give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. So I'm going to start with my bee bucket. I purchased this metal type bucket with the twine on it from the Dollar Tree, and then I'm going to use the stencil here. I'm going to tape the stencil onto the bucket, and I'm just using some Scotch tape here to tape my stencil down. And then I'm going to use, I wanted a color similar to honey, kind of a golden color without the metallic. That's the color that I'm going to use to stencil the bee onto the bucket. And I'm going to use a stencil brush that I purchased from the Dollar Tree, and less is more when you're stenciling, so you do not need a lot of paint. And I'm pushing down on the stencil too. I'm holding it real tight to make sure that, try to prevent any of the paint from bleeding through. If any of the paint, when you take the stencil off, if you do see any of it bled through, I just took a little Q-tip, moistened it, got a little bit wet, and just wiped around anywhere that it kind of smudged or smeared. And I'm just going to fill my bee bucket with some lavender. I purchased 2 different types of lavender from Walmart. This is a little bit smaller clump or bunch. I split that in half from Walmart, and I think that was about $1.50. And then I purchased the big bunch here, and this was about $3. And I'm using the big bunch there in my other DIY too. So that is what was left over. I filled it up my bucket with what was left. For my next DIY, I just purchased this frame from the Dollar Tree, and this is actually the front of the frame, the silver side, and the black is the back, but I'm going to use the back as the side that I'm going to glue the glass into. And the first thing I did is just remove these little holders, and you can pull these out with your fingers, or you can use a pair of pliers. They'll pop right out. And then I'm going to use some heirloom white spray paint, and I'm painting that black side or the back side, the heirloom white. And I'm using some E6000 glue and just going real lightly around all 4 corners of my glass to attach it to the frame. And again, I'm using the back side of the frame as the side that I painted. So this is the green paint that I'm going to use for the stem of the lavender, and I'm just using a real fine tip brush that I purchased from the Dollar Tree, just making a straight line for the stem on the lavender. And then I bought 2 different shades of light purples that I'm going to use for the lavender, and then I have a darker shade of purple, and I'll list that down in the description box, that I just kind of shaded or did some contrast with the really dark purple. But these are the 2 light shades that I'm using for the lavender. And for the lavender, for the flower part, I'm just making some little lines, just 1 straight line and then 2 little lines out from that. So these are just really fast, quick strokes. Anyone can do this, very simple. And then I'm just adding some leaves onto the stem. And then I'm going to start a second lavender bunch on the left side, and then I'm going to add one to the right side. And I think you can see there, when I hold it up really close, the dark purple there, where I added a little bit of shading. I bought these stickers from the Dollar Tree. They're silver, but I used a purple Sharpie to color those and allow those to dry. And I'm going to put the word faith onto my picture. Once I got the word or the stickers on there, I just took a little piece of twine and tied a bow and used the E6000 glue and glued that around the bunch of the lavender. This is a really cute, sweet sign. I'll just have it leaned up there on the wall to show you. So for my last DIY, I'm just using one of these wreaths I purchased from the Dollar Tree. They come in a 2-pack. I think they're around a 9 to 12 inch wreath. This is the larger one that's in the pack. And then I'm using some of that big bunch of lavender. It comes like this from Walmart. And I think it was about $3 or $3.50. And I'm just clipping some of those pieces. I'm going to use 9 pieces out of this bunch, and I'm cutting them different sizes, a few short ones, a few medium ones, and then a couple longer ones. And then I have some wider ribbon that I purchased from Walmart, and then I'm just tying this onto my wreath. And I tried to tie it right down at the bottom so there's not a lot of stem on the other side of the bow. So here's all 3 of our DIYs. These were really fun, fast, simple DIYs for you to make that are budget friendly. Leave us a comment, let us know which one that you liked the best. We really had a great time participating in the collaboration today, so we want to say thank you to Teresa B. DIY and Freckled Mom for hosting the challenge. Their information again is listed in our description box along with the playlist of the other crafters participating. So check out everyone that's on the playlist. If you're new to our channel, Southern Gmoregals, we'd love to have you subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. We try to have new budget-friendly DIY videos out on Mondays. We also have a Springtime in the Smokies series that we're having out on Fridays, showing you our travels to the western mountains of North Carolina, so check those videos out. Like and subscribe our video today. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. We want to thank everyone for watching. Hope y'all have a great day. I purchased my sign from the Dollar Tree, and I'm taking the word welcome off, and this is the shade that I'm going to paint it. I wanted it similar to a honey color, and the welcome will pop off. I just used my fingernails. You could use a little screwdriver, and it's metal, so you could reuse it again on another project. I took some sandpaper and just tried to smooth it down a little bit before I painted my sign. I painted my sign, and then I'm going to use these stencils. I'm going to use a honeycomb. I'm putting that in the left upper corner and then in the right lower corner. And I'm going to use some white or bright white chalk paint. That's what I'm using as my paint color. And then I couldn't find a stencil brush, so you could use a stencil brush, or I'm just using a little small paintbrush that I had from the Dollar Tree. Works fine too. See, I added the honeycomb to the right lower corner, and then I'm putting sweet as, and then I'm using the A again for the A there, and then honey, and then I'm going to use an actual picture of a bee stencil for the bee. I'm loving all the different bee DIYs that I've seen. I love the little cute honeybees and the bees that they have on all their designs. And then I also like this writing. I think it's a really cute shape. I'm taking one of the little small bees off. You can see there's a honeycomb on this one. And then I'm using a bigger bee down beside the word honey. And I'm just using the chalk paint again and using a brush here and going over the stencil. And here's the bigger little bee. He's got a little buzz trail coming behind him. He's really cute. Makes a really sweet looking sign. So again, I'm just going over him with some of the white chalk paint. So here's my little sign. This turned out so cute. I love the little cute bumblebees on here and such a sweet little saying on the sign. And it was so simple to make. All you had to do is have 2 paint colors, and the buy the sign only cost $1 at the Dollar Tree. So budget friendly DIY. We're going to move on to DIY number 2. So and for my next project, I just bought the little shadow box at the Dollar Tree, and I'm using these like tongue depressors or wooden sticks to make my DIY. And I just disassembled my shadow box. The back will pop right off. It has a couple little staples or a couple little tacks in it you'll have to pop off. And it had a little butterfly on it, and I took that off of there. And then I'm going to paint the backing here. I'm going to paint that a black with just black paint. And I want these tongue depressors or wooden sticks here to look like a honeybee hive, so that's what we're making. And one side, I measured, you have to clip one side of it off to fit. I started to fight with a nail file, but that really wasn't strong enough, so I went and got a little sheet of sandpaper, and that worked good to round the other side of your stick, so they both have rounded edges. And after I got all my sticks cut, I just took some of the brown contact paper from the Dollar Tree and just stuck my little sticks onto there and then cut out around it until I got all of my sticks covered. So I moved outside here and I was under a red umbrella, so it looks a little red. I apologize for that. I just took some rubbing alcohol to rub the words off the glass, and I had to scrape it a little bit, and I just used my nail. You could use a little toothbrush to get that off. And then I'm taking my glue gun and just gluing the little wooden sticks down in the shape of a beehive. And I just took the same black paint that I painted the background. I'm just going to make like a little opening to the honeybee hive. I'm just kind of making a rounded shape here and then filling that in. These are actually little buttons. I found those in Walmart, and I just snipped off the back part of the button so it'd lay a little bit flatter. And I'm going to use the glue gun. I'm going to put 2 on my beehive, and then I'm going to put 1 after I put some bows on here. And then I'm using just a little hot glue in all 4 corners just to hold this in place. I purchased a roll of yellow ribbon with some polka dots from Walmart, along with some of the buffalo plaid check from Walmart. And I just made 2 little simple bows, and I'm hot gluing both of these up into the left-hand corner, one on top of the other. And then I'm going to take another one of those cute little bumblebees and glue that into the center of the bows. Finished sign. This is a really cute sign too. I love the little honeybee hive and the little bees buzzing around. This is a budget-friendly design, really quick and simple to make. We hope you like this DIY. And we're going to have one final DIY. So for my bee hanger or my bee wreath, I did some disassembling and reassembling of these fairy wings. You'll need to purchase 2 sets of these. You're going to use 3 of the blue wings and just 1 of the red. I'm using this drawer liner, this print from the Dollar Tree. I'm tracing around that, cutting it out, and then hot gluing that onto 2 of the blue wings. These are held together by wire, so I left 2 of these together, and that's the side wings of the bee. And then I disassembled 1 of the red wings. I completely cut that off, and then I cut the other one off and shaped that into the head of the bee is a round circle, and I'm going to cover that with some of the black drawer liner from the Dollar Tree you'll see here. And I'm using 2 rows of that because you want that to be a little bit thicker, and I'm just hot gluing that into place and kind of folding that over the sides of the bee's head. And we're going to take some of the rope from the Dollar Tree and twist around this. So this is just kind of a backdrop for the bee head. So here is the round wire with the black drawer cover. I'm using this rope I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I'm actually going to spray paint this black after I get this twisted on here. I'm just using my glue gun, going around in a circle and completely covering the inside of this. So now I'm going to use the last blue wing that's going to be the body of the bee, and I took the mesh that was on there off and I twisted it at the bottom to make the point, and then I just reattached it onto the other 2 wings using some pliers. I just twisted that on there. I'm using some of the black drawer liner to cover it. I'm using 2 layers again with my glue gun. Now I've got the outline of my bee. I'm taking this brown rope from the Dollar Tree. I spray painted it black. I'm using my glue gun. I'm going all the way around both of the white wings with the black rope. And then I'm going to go all the way around the body or the black part of the bee there with the black rope. And to attach the head or the circle part, I did put some wire. I twisted that through the center of the bee just to make it a little bit more secure because that piece is a little bit heavy with all of that rope. I just twisted it through the center there, and then I also went back and hot glued that underneath the parts of the wings of the bee just to make sure that stays good and stable. Now I just added a little bit more design. This is the way the one online had these little polka dots on it. So I'm just taking 2 layers of that black drawer liner, and I'm just taking a lid and cutting out some circles using my glue gun to glue these onto the wings. And this is just continuing the rope around the body of the bee. A shot of the bee that's put all together. Now we're going to go back and we're going to build, I'm going to paint some yellow onto the bee, and then we'll build our floral items onto our bee. And I'm just using some yellow paint and freehanding some lines across here on my bee. If you're going to put your bee outside, you'll want to be sure that you use some type of an outdoor paint so it doesn't run onto your door. Purchased this yellow ribbon with the polka dots along with the buffalo plaid from Walmart. I just made really big loops and used some floral wire and twisted that into the center. And then I found this honeybee ribbon from Michael's. I made a bigger bow and twisted that onto the center. I got all of my floral items from the Dollar Tree. I purchased 2 different greens and then 1 sunflower. And I'm just using my hot glue gun to glue these into place. I put my sunflowers here on first. And then I went back and just added a little greenery where I thought it needed a little bit more green. And here's my little honeybee. This is so festive for summer. The colors really pop out with that yellow in the center against the black and the white of the bee. And I had just taken some of that rope and spray painted it black and twisted it in circles to make his little antennas. And I just used my hot glue gun to attach those. I used the rope again right in the center of the back to make a little hanger to hang him up with. And here's just one more little sneak peek of my bee, and then I'm going to show you all of the bee designs together. Hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to move on after this to our next DIY. Hope you're enjoying my big video here of everything together. Give you some inspiration for summertime. These are some budget-friendly, easy lemon DIYs for you to make. I'm using Dollar Tree items here. I purchased the little cat dish and the candle holder from the Dollar Tree to make my riser. And they have the little cat dishes in some different colors. Really doesn't matter what color because I'm going to use this white spray paint to spray paint these after I put these together. And I'm using the E6000 glue. I'm just going to glue my little cat dish onto the candle holder, and then I'm going to spray paint it with the white spray paint. And once I've got it painted, I'm going to use this little chunky brush. I saw this from Jackie in Crafting with Mimi's World. We're just going to want to kind of give it some of a rustic look. That's the brown paint that I'm using. So I'm just using the very tips there just to make this look a little weathered or a little rustic, and just kind of lightly stroking over it. I'm going to go horizontal around the dish part, and then I'm going to go vertical up and down around the candle holder part. And I purchased my lemons from Michael's. I got this whole little bag. It has lots of different sizes. It says it was $9.99, but it was right at $5. I think it was even a little bit less because they were on sale. So I'm putting 3 great big lemons in here, and then I'm putting like a medium one and a small one. I'm going to add a little bit of greenery to here, so you can position these however you want. And the greenery is optional. It looks great without it, but I'm going to add a little bit of green to it. So I'm going to use for the greenery, I'm using this eucalyptus. I purchased this from Walmart, and all I'm going to do is slide the leaves up, and I'm clipping 3 pieces off, or 3 little branches. And I actually took the lemons out and put the branches down, or the greenery down, and then put the lemons back on top. So this is a really simple, budget-friendly DIY. This is very easy to make. Anyone can put this together. And we're going to move on to our next DIY. This sign, this only cost me $2 to make, so wow, what a value. And this is really super cute. I love the black on the background. I purchased this sign from Dollar General and was only $1. And then I found these paper plates that they had at the Dollar General, and I'm going to cut the lemons out off of the plates, and that's what we're going to use for our lemons. I'm using the E6000 glue, and what I'm going to do is I just kind of have them positioned here the way that I want them on the sign, and then I'm going to use a paintbrush, and I want to paint around. You want to go around the edges really good with the glue because you don't want any big clumps or have it to be real lumpy. So I'm just using a paintbrush, going around the edges with the glue and then gluing it down to my sign. For my letters, if you saw my Mother's Day video, the Mother's Day canvas, I purchased these stickers from Hobby Lobby, and this is what I'm using to make summertime with. I was originally going to use hello, so that's why you see the H in the letters for hello, but then I changed my mind and used summertime, and I'm just taking some bright white Waverly chalk paint, and I'm painting my stickers here, and I'm letting it dry good. And this bend your paper there and your stickers will peel right off. This looks great up against the black, the white letters. And you'll be able to use the sticker pack multiple times. It has lots of uppercase and lowercase letters. I love the way that this turned out, and this again only cost me $2 to make. I clipped the little burlap string, or the little twine that was on the back. I clipped that off of my sign. So I purchased this sign from the Dollar Tree. I really like the background on this sign, so I wanted to keep that. So I'm just taking off the family here, and this is glued on this little square that was holding it on. So I just worked it and peeled it off because the lemon that I'm going to put on here is going to cover it up. And I've had lots of trouble trying to find lemons where I'm at. So I found these. This is amazing that you can use these, but I found these at Hobby Lobby, and then they also have these at Walmart. They're only 62 cents at Walmart, and they're like 79 cents at Hobby Lobby. So this is great. Looks like a lemon. Who would know that it's a football? And it has that thickness, so it looks like it's coming off of your sign a little bit. Works great. So we're going to paint that, and then we're going to glue it onto our sign here. I'm just showing you where I popped that off, and it did tear just a little bit, so just make sure you don't rip further up there, but the lemon's going to cover it up so it really won't matter. And here it is, and I took some leaves off some fabric that I had, and I glued those on there, and then I used the black stickers again to make pucker up. So this was a great deal again because the sign only cost me $1, and then the lemon was like 79 cents. So wow, quick simple way to make you a couple signs that have the lemons on them. We love getting candles here. My girls love getting different candles, and this one is one that's burnt down to the bottom. This was an old Bath and Body Works candle, so we're going to use this for our vase here. This is going to be the base of it, and I'm using some crepe myrtle branches. I just clipped these off. This was from my yard, and I'm just measuring the length that I want this, and then I'm going to cut these down a little bit more, and I'm going to glue these up onto the candle jar with my hot glue gun. And I did take the sticker off of the candle because that was showing through just a little bit, so I made sure I peeled the label off, and it came right off of the candle. And then I'm just using my hot glue gun here. I'm just making a strip and gluing the branches onto the jar and gluing them up against each other. And here's what mine looks like once I got all my branches glued on here. Now it does kind of sway out or bow out a little bit at the top, but that's fine because we're going to put the floral down into here, so that's not going to matter. And we're going to tie a bow around this, so it's not going to be perfectly straight using branches out of your yard, but it looks great. So I found this ribbon at Michael's. This is a beautiful ribbon with the lemons on it and the little blueberries. It was priced $9.99, but it was more than 60% off, so it was a great deal, and this is a nice thick fabric. So first I'm going to tie a piece of this around the candle holder or around the branches here, and I'm just tying a knot, and then I'm going to make a big bow with some floral wire, and I'm going to secure that into the center. So here's my bow, and I'm just twisting that onto the knot there with some floral wire. Before I add my floral items, I did put some of the floral sponge or the floral foam there that I had from the Dollar Tree. I could just cut 2 little pieces and set those down into the candle. I found these blue lilacs at the Dollar Tree. I bought 1 bunch of those, and I got these a bunch of these at Michael's. This was 1 clump I got from Michael's, and they were also on sale. And then I also found these little yellow balls. I don't even know what these are called. I found these at Walmart, and I thought these were so cute, and I thought they went really well with lemons, so those were $1. So that's what we're putting here in my arrangement, and I just positioned these around. I wanted the blue to be up just a little bit taller than the other floral items, so I just pushed these down into my vase, and I think these colors look great, and they match the ribbon perfect. So I have these labels from the Dollar Tree. These are little wooden labels with like a chalk print on the front. I had the little yellow ribbon from my DIY that I made a bow with, and then I found these stickers at Michael's. So I'm using 2 of the stickers off of here, and I'm putting those onto my labels, and then I'm going to hot glue those onto my vase here. And I just glued the little yellow ribbon onto the label, and then glued that onto the larger bow there. And then I glued 1 more label down there with a picture of lemons for lemonade. This really looks cute. It's a nice tall piece, so it looks great to go back behind some of your other signs and some of your other items here that we have in our video. So this also gives you a really unique look. I love the ribbon when I saw it in the store, and I wanted to make something with it. So I thought this was really country, really farmhouse look, and I love the lemons and the blues and the yellows together. My next sign, I also purchased this sign from the Dollar Tree, and I purchased the paper, the lemon paper that's underneath there. I purchased from Michael's, and I think it might have been like 79 cents. I think it was less than $1. And I'm just cutting the size to fit and putting that down inside the frame there. And then I found this green polka dot fabric from Walmart, and it was just 99 cents for a square. So I'm just cutting out a corner size here, and I'm going to use my hot glue gun to put that into the corner. So again, I used one of the chalkboard labels. I just turned it around and used a sticker. I had the yellow and white twine. This was from the Dollar Tree. I had this from another DIY, and I just hot glued some of that on the back and twisted it around, and I hot glued the label there onto the corner of the frame. So this only cost me a couple dollars to make this sign too, and it was really quick and easy. Coordinates well with some of the other items here in our video. Got one last DIY, and this is just for fun. I found these little plastic glasses at the Dollar Tree, and then I'm just using some of my leftover lemons that I had from the bunch that I purchased at Michael's. They also had these paper straws at the Dollar Tree, so I just put some of those straws in here and one of these little clothespin labels. Again, I'm going to use the stickers from Michael's. I'm just using one of the lemons here, and I'm going to stick that onto the label, and then I made another little yellow bow, and I just hot glued the bow onto the little clip there, and I'm going to clip this onto my cup. So just something fun, simple. If you are having some lemonade or some drinks for summer, kids will like grabbing a straw out of one of these cups, and this goes good with their other items and gives you a little bit more height if you're looking for something taller. We hope you enjoyed our video today. Hope you got some inspiration to make some budget-friendly DIYs for your home with some lemon designs. Check out Jackie and Sarah's videos as well. They also have all lemon DIYs in their videos today. It's Crafting in Mimi's World and Jujube DIYs. I want to say thank you to both of them for allowing us to join their collaboration. If you're new to our channel, Southern gmoregals, don't forget to subscribe. Turn your notifications on so you don't miss any of our new and upcoming videos. I'm going to list some of our other DIY videos down in our description box. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you have a great day. Design. It's made with all dollar items, so stay tuned here. The wreath I purchased was from the Dollar Tree, and then I purchased these cattail floral items from Walmart, and they're 97 cents a bunch, and I purchased 9 of those bunches. And that's the red spray paint that I'm going to spray paint some of the bunches red, and then I'm going to use this blue, it's a navy blue, to spray paint some of these cattail floral items blue. Actually took the leaf part on the floral and slid it up, and then I hung these in bushes like this upside down to paint these, so they're just kind of hanging here. This was really an easy quick fix here to not get paint all over me, and it hung them in place and then they dried really quickly. So this is how I hung mine up to paint my floral items. So I painted 3 of the bunches red and then 3 of them blue, and that left 3 of the bunches white. And I just clipped these pieces apart, and about every 3rd to 4th piece I'm going to leave the greenery on those. I didn't leave this on every one because that'll make too much green on your wreath. And to start with, I'm going to use some zip ties to tie these on with, and you can get those from the Dollar Tree. I like those when I'm making a wreath because I can put things exactly where I want them, and it makes it really secure where they're not going to move around. You can also use a glue gun here, and then those rings around the wreath, they're good to fill in. You can slide your items into there, and if you're having this inside, you may not need a whole lot of wire or zip ties or even glue from your glue gun, because these will slide into those rings when you go back to fill in anywhere that needs a little bit of fullness. And I'm just following the pattern around here, and I left a couple of these pieces, and I'm just sliding this into where that kind of that string goes around the wreath. So I'm just anchoring this into that part. You know, if you felt like you needed to hit it with the glue gun a little bit, you could. I'm going to have my wreath inside, so I felt like it was getting really secure just sliding it in there, and it was staying in place really nicely. So that's how I'm just going back and filling in anywhere I felt looked like was a little bit bare. And then I'm going to take the red, and I'm going to start with the red up at the top. And here you'll see the red, and I'm just securing 3 pieces again with the zip tie, and I'm just going to work my way around the wreath. And we're really glad that you're here today. And I'm just showing you here my wreath once I have all the floral items on here like I wanted. I thought it looks nice and full. I'm going to go back and take some of these foam shaped stars, and they're bright white with some glitter, but I'm going to use this Waverly chalk paint. And I'm just painting the front side to tone those down, and then I'm using my glue gun to attach those to my wreath. I love the way this turned out. This is a little wooden cathedral window that I have in my hallway. I put it outside so you can see some really good lighting out here. I love this hanging on this outside. Really cute, festive. This was really simple to make. Anyone can do this. Try something new if you're not into wreaths. I think those are one of my favorite things to do DIYs on. This is my second DIY. I purchased this a couple years ago at Aldi, and it has actually like the little tiki torch kind of citronella bottle that sits down in here, that sits down in the middle. But we're going to make something similar to this. I have a metal tin coffee container right there, and then this other one is more like a cardboard kind of container, the Maxwell House one. And I just traced some stars here on both of my cans, and I'm going to use this little Dremel tool to cut the stars out. This works great on either of these materials. It cut through the metal really easily, and it also made the cardboard really quick to be able to cut the stars out. And once I got the stars cut out, all I'm going to do is use some of painter's tape and just tape around. I wanted to do the blue part first. I'm going to do the navy spray paints, the same ones that I used with the wreath DIY. And I'm going to spray paint these, and I'm going to place them with the stars down at the bottom. So, just in case it would run or drip anyway, it won't run back where you're going to do your stripes. There's the color that I'm going to use. And here you can see how I painted that. I left it upside down until that dried. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the white next. And then I'll put some more tape on it to do the red stripes. So here's just a little quick tip that I did. After I spray painted the white here, I put my tape around for my stripes, and then I spray painted the red, and I hung this on a tree branch this way so it's kind of sticking out sideways. That way that red paint can't run either way. It didn't run down the top or the bottom, so that way it won't smudge on your can. So this was a great way to let this dry. Here's my little tin cans. I think these really turned out cute. They're so festive, and you could do a lot with these. I'm going to put some little tea light candles down in here to light these up as little luminaries. You'd want to just be careful with the one that's like the cardboard inside. You maybe want to use a flameless candle with that if you're putting it inside, or if you're not going to be around to watch these. But I wanted to show them to you lit up here. I have these on a tabletop. Really cute and festive, and the stars really shine out with that light glowing. And then I'm going to show it to you on some of our steps and a couple other places that you could place these around outside. And here these are on some steps. These look really cute. I wish I'd made some more, had some time to make some more and put them on every step. These would look great outside for summer if you're having a cookout or, Memorial Day or 4th of July party. Really festive. I love the illumination where you can have this lit up in the evening time. We hope you enjoyed our red, white, and blue DIYs today. We want to say thank you again to Teresa B. DIY for organizing the challenge today and also organizing the fundraiser. If you're able to donate today, the link is down in our description box. We want to say thank you in advance if you're able to make a donation. We want to say thanks to Sammy for co-hosting from Unicorn Dust Design. We have all of their information listed down in our description box, along with the playlist, so get inspired. Check all the other crafters out for some inspirational red, white, and blue patriotic designs today. If you're new to our channel, Southern gmoregals, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notifications on. We also have our Instagram link down below. We're newer to Instagram, so come check out our page on Instagram. We want to say thanks to everyone for watching. Hope you have a great Memorial Day, and thanks to anyone who has been in the service, has a loved one or family member that's in the service. We want to thank you for your time and for your services and sacrifices that you and your family have made throughout the years. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you have a great day. This is actually a little plastic jar from the Dollar Tree that was from Easter. So this is what I'm using. All I'm going to do is peel the sticker off here. And all of our DIYs today, besides just being so stinking cute, they are really budget friendly. This DIY here will only cost you $3 to make. So I'm just painting the upper, probably 3/4 of the jar pink, and I applied 2 coats just because I didn't want it to be too translucent. And these are really cool little jars to be in plastic, so you don't have to worry about them getting knocked over or get broke. Or if you have a lot of canning jars and you don't want to ruin them by painting them all, this is a good option. But they do have some glass jars at the Dollar Tree too. And if you wanted a glass one, you may be able to find them. I've seen them recently at the Dollar General. So I'm just taking a darker green and making a little squiggly line. And then I'm using another shade, a little bit lighter shade of green, and just going in between. So there's 2 different colors here on the bottom part of the rind part of the watermelon. And it's okay if they mix together and bleed together. That just gives it even better color. So if it runs together a little bit or gets mixed together, that's fine. Just keep going with it. Pink part dries. I'm using a brush that actually had some dried paint on it, so it's pretty stiff. It's a little small brush. And I'm taking some black paint, and I'm just going to go around and make some random seeds. And you can make these however you want them. There's no right or wrong, just however you think a seed will look. So I'm going to go around my jar and put a couple seeds. Here comes a really fun part, trying to make a straight line. Well, I did the best I could, so I'm just taking some white chalk paint, and we're going to go around the jar, separating the pink and the rind part of the watermelon. So I'm just going all the way around with some white chalk paint. So I'm taking some of the twine from the Dollar Tree. I'm just wrapping it around the top and hitting it with my glue gun just to make it secure. And I'm going to put a little sweet bow there on the top. And then we're going to fill our jar up with some other little wooden watermelons. And I purchased these little wooden circles from Walmart. They're 97 or 99 cents. I think there's 8 of them in a pack. And we took those and we cut those in half. And then I'm going to glue the halves together. So I'm going to glue 2 halves together or 1 circle together just to make them a little bit thicker. I thought they'd stay on the straws a little bit better if they were a little bit thicker. And I'm just using the E6000 glue. And I'm just putting some glue there in between these. And you could use some wood glue, whichever one you've got on hand. So I wanted all of my little wooden watermelons for each project to look a little bit different. So for the ones that are going to go in the jar, I'm just going to mix the red and the pink. I'm just going to dab my brush from one to the other and just swirl them together to give these kind of a little swirly look or a swirled effect. So nothing exact with these, no rhyme or reason, doesn't have to be perfect. Just really quickly kind of swirling the 2 colors together to mix those or blend those colors. And then I'm going to take a smaller brush and do the green to make the rind running across the bottom of the watermelon. And I purchased the straws that I'm using from the Dollar Tree, and these actually had some little palm trees on them, so I'm just going to pop that off. I'm going to use 3, and I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and put some glue on the wooden watermelons and just hold that in place. And then I'm going to cut the straws in different lengths so they won't all be the same length. So a little bit shorter one, and then a couple taller ones to fit down in my jar. Now, how cute is that? I actually saw some of these jars on sale at Etsy, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can make that. It's so simple. These look great. They'd be great for a cookout to set outside on the table to decorate with. But of course, today is all about making minis to go on a tier tray, so you could decorate your tier tray with these. Moving on to DIY number 2, I purchased this summer sign from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to use the back side that I'm going to paint. I'm using this blue shade, and I'm also mixing it with some bright white chalk paint. I don't want it quite that bright blue. And I purchased a 4-pack of sponges from the Dollar General, and I just took one and I just cut the end to make it look like a watermelon slice. And that's what we're going to use to make our stencil for the sign. I'm just applying some of the pink here in the center. I'm going to put a little bit of the red on the tip, and then I'm going to take some green and put that on the rind. This is really simple, easy to do. I love the way that these colors look up against the blue. So once you get your paint on here we go. Now I kind of debated where I was going to put this. I was kind of moving around a little bit here. So I'm going to put it right here over on the side. I'm going to start on the right side, and then we're going to go back across to the left. So here we go. Just put a little bit of pressure there and hold that down. And let's see what we've got. Wow. Bam. Looks great. Let's move on to the next one. I'm just going to take some more of that black paint, and I'm just randomly going to put a couple seeds on here. Ta-da, here you go. $2 sign. Can't beat that. Super simple to make. Love it for summer. Be great outdoors for a cookout. If you're slicing a big old juicy watermelon up, this will go great to set alongside of that. $2 DIY. I purchased this sign from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take off that center part. I was going to cover it with some fabric, and I changed my mind, so that's why it has a little bit of kind of tear there on the sign. But what I decided to do is I'm going to paint some stripes, or try to paint some stripes here inside the sign. So I'm putting down some painter's tape, and the only problem with this is when I went to take this off, it kind of ripped the sign a little bit. So you want to be really careful if you do use tape with this to make your lines, because it may pull some of that backing off when you go to take your tape off. And I'm using some of this white Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just going to go over that. I had to go over it with 2 coats just because of the black there that was underneath to make sure that was good and covered. And then I'm going to use the same blue that I used in the first sign. I just mixed that again with some of this white chalk paint to tone it down a little bit. Here you can see where I removed the painter's tape and it pulled some of that cover off that was on there. So that's why I'm not going to retape the white lines, because I'm afraid it will pull that off of there too. But I'm just painting right over top of that with the blue paint, and it covered it quite well. Found my watermelon at the Dollar Tree. I think it's actually a luggage tag. And I'm going to use this little pink plaid bow. I just made a little bow there to cover up where the tag part went on the watermelon. And it also has the little like part where you'd insert your name there, and I peeled that off of the back where you'd put the card in there. And I'm just using a hot glue gun. I'm going to glue this down. You'll have to hold it down a little bit just where it's so thick so it'll stick to your sign here. So here you go. Here's our really cute sign. The bow makes it really sweet, and this will fit great on a tier tray or to set with any of your other summer decor. I think this one is my favorite out of all of them. I really love the way this wreath turned out. It looks so cute. But I'm going to use the rest of the wooden slices that we have. 3 of them, I'm going to do this red design, and the other 3 are going to be the pink design. The red one, I'm painting most of the slice red with no pink on it until that dries, because we want to put some pink polka dots on it. And then the pink one back there in the background, I'm painting the middle part pink, and the top I'm going to paint red. Tried to make these look really unique or really different. So for the one that has the mostly red, I did the rind there a little bit different. I put some dark green and then some light green. I kind of alternated around for the rind. And then I couldn't find my little foam circle brushes. So this is just a little wooden dowel stick that I had from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just dipping it in the pink paint. Makes a perfect circle. It's simple, easy to do. And I just went around the watermelons that are mainly red. And I'm going to put these little pink polka dots on them. Aren't those so cute? And here's a good shot of both of them together. You can see the 2 different designs. The one on the left there is the one that has more of the pink, and then the ones there on the right have the pink polka dots. So I'm just randomly, again, I'm using a brush that actually had some dried paint on it. And you imagine that, having a brush that I didn't clean good. But I'm using that brush is great for making seeds because it's staying really stiff. So I'm just randomly placing some seeds around here. To make the wreath part, I'm just using, this is some floral wire from the Dollar Tree. And I just twisted it around just kind of randomly how big I thought it would be to fit all 6 of the watermelon on there. And then I'm just taking a piece of this twine from the Dollar Tree. I hot glued it right there to start with, and I'm just wrapping it around and around the wire here until I get it to cover a lot of the wire. And I think I went around it probably about 4 times. And I'm just going to glue it there. I'm just gluing that piece down where I stopped at. And I'm going to use my hot glue gun, and we're going to go around. We're going to glue these watermelons down. Tried to, as I was gluing them down, kind of turn them facing different ways, kind of facing to the left and facing to the right. So position them however you like. And then we're going to put a sweet little bow on the top. And I'm just making a really simple bow. I'm using red plaid check from the Dollar Tree and then a pink plaid check from the Dollar Tree, and I just twisted those together to make a bow with some of the wire. And I'm going to twist that right on the top, and then we'll be all done with my sweet little wreath. Talk about cute. This turned out so sweet. I love this. I think I might even go back and get some bigger pieces to make a larger wreath to go on the door. I just love the way the colors go together. Really cute. I love the little polka dots on the watermelons. This last one is a just for funner. By all means, I'm not a great sewer, especially with little small items, so I'm using my glue gun here. My friend Sarah from Jujubee DIYs glued her lemons together in a previous video. I love the way she did that. So we're going to do this with some watermelons, and I'm just doing this really quickly. And I just cut out the wooden shape that I used of the watermelons. That's my pattern I'm using for this. That's what I cut out with the red fabric with black polka. Just gluing that onto some green fabric, and then I'm going to glue those together, and then I'm going to put a little bit of filler in them, and I'm just using these to kind of fill in on my tray. So really cute, really simple. I did these just for fun. They would look much better, I think, if I'd actually sewn them, but me and the sewing machine don't get along too well with doing little small items. Once I got the red glued on to the green, then I just glued the green pieces together. I can recommend not using these little foam balls for filling. They go all over the place, or they stick to your glue gun. I happen to be out of the stuffing or pillow stuffing, but I wish I'd had some of that, because this is not very friendly to use those little beads. So you may want to try something different besides those little foam balls here that I used to fill those with, unless you want to clean up everything in your kitchen where they blow everywhere. So here's everything together. Ta-da! I still have to say my favorite though is that wreath. I love the wreath. It's so sweet. I actually made my tier tray too. It was from a bunny tray, a Easter video, and it's just a baking pan and a candle holder from the Dollar Tree with some Mardi Gras beads. It's super simple if you need a little tray to put together. I think this one looks really elegant with the beads on it. I hope you liked this video. We want to say thanks to Corey at Crafted by Corey for hosting the challenge. Her information's in our description box, along with the other great crafters. To check out the playlist so you'll get some summer inspiration. Also want to thank Teresa B DIY, for collaborating with me. We both are having lots of watermelon DIY, so check out Teresa's watermelon DIY video today. Her information's in our description box, and a link to her video too. If you're new to our channel, Southern gmoregals, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notifications on. Check us out on Instagram too. We're new on Instagram, and you'll get some sneak peeks of our upcoming videos before they come out. We also will link some of our DIY videos down in the description box. I have some lemon DIYs that are out and some bee DIYs. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your favorite one is. Let me know if the favorite is your wreath. If not, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.